There's this old classic rock and roll song that says, "Time keeps on slipping, slipping into the future." And as it relates to personal mastery, time is something that's ever fleeting. There's no way you can stop it. It seems like yesterday that my son was born. Literally, I can vividly remember being in the hospital delivery room with my wife, and just that moment came, and man, just it seemed like in a matter of minutes, this beautiful new life was birthed right there in front of us, and we were first-time parents. And now, just it seems like the next day, but really it's been 18 years. My son just graduated from high school, and in a few months he'll be off to university, living out of town, away from home, and it's just overwhelming to think about how quickly time moves. It also seems like the older one gets, the faster a year goes by. What am I saying? Time is a currency. Time is a currency. Time is something you either spend, you invest, or you waste. And you only have so much of it to utilize. As we've said before, 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. And each of us have to think about, how do I steward the moments? So I want to ask you today, just as we begin this conversation about time and personal mastery, how do you spend your time? Where do you maybe waste time? A stunning statistic that I read recently is the average American adult spends 4 to 6 hours per day in front of a television or in front of some form of entertainment on a computer. Now, if they're learning, if they're investing in themselves and growing by way of seminars or knowledge, what have you, that's fine. But I'm sorry, but Honey Boo Boo doesn't count as growing your knowledge base. Sports, I love to be entertained. I'm a basketball fan, all that sort of thing. I get it. Your favorite crime show, I'm a big NCIS guy. Used to be a 24 guy. And if you're not careful, you can get so addicted and so caught up in that, and you don't think about it in the context of time, but really what you're doing is you are allocating time, you're spending time. You have to ask yourself this question: is this currency that I'm trading going to bring a return on that investment to me? If not, I have to seriously consider, am I mastering my time? And so, look, I'm not crazy. I don't think you can just go sit in a box and have some square life where you don't do anything to relax, to escape. I get that. Believe me, in my line of work, I really understand. I'm simply saying that time is a currency, and you would not spend your money just on anything and everything that came along, but time is so valuable. Matter of fact, time is money. Think about this. Every one of us, whether we're self-employed, employed by some contractor, or maybe we have a full-time job with a company, the fact is we're trading minutes and hours of our life for money. So if you're a $20 an hour gal, or if you're a $50 an hour guy, or if you're a $100 an hour woman who is in business, whatever you think your time value is based on your hourly worth, just ask yourself the question: if I sit down to watch an hour's worth of television, I have just traded an hour of my life or $1,000 of my worth for this piece of entertainment. Is it worth it to me? So I'm just saying, time is a currency. You have to think of it like that and become a master of your time. Well, how do you go about that? Well, we're going to talk about several ways in these segments to do that, but let me give you a couple right here to consider. Number one, there is this concept of time management, being intentional about your time. One of the easiest ways that I've found to do that is at the end of every day, I sit down and I really look at, what did I accomplish today? What did I leave undone today? What is a list of things that need to be accomplished tomorrow towards my goals, towards responsibilities and accountabilities that I may have? If it's on my job, if it's to a boss, if it's to a manager, if it's to my own business, to my family. And then I list those things out, but then I go back and I prioritize those. And there's various ways you can do that, some great tools out there that you can use. But the fact is, you have to take your laundry list and look at what is most important. What should be first and most? What is my greatest priority? What's going to be the greatest return on my investment of time into these tasks, into these responsibilities? And you just list those out and then make yourself a quote unquote, and I really don't like this term, but a to-do list or a task list or a time list. If you have to, in my case, for example, I've created now blocks of time where on Fridays from 9 a.m. in the morning until 2 in the afternoon, I have a whole block of time. I don't take any other appointments. I don't work on any other tasks. I write. I create content. I am developing material for lessons and strategic living and various things that I work on. So sometimes you got to block off entire segments of time or block off a whole day. But be intentional. If you're not intentional about managing your time will manage you, or your time will just slip away. So I encourage you today, take a time inventory. We'll talk more about that later. But take a time, how are you spending time? How are you wasting time? Where are you investing time? And how might you need to change that up? My name is Brian Holmes. I trust this is helping you. Understand personal mastery begins with how do you manage your time. We'll see you next time. Until then, God bless.